Hello, I'm Kristin.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching Outlander Season 1, Episode 5, Rent.
So, indignant asshole Claire is my least favorite Claire. She is just the worst in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, she's the worst until she's the best. And then she's the worst again, and then it's fine. And then it ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. It is... She just is like, she thinks she knows everything, and she doesn't. And then she's like very suspiciously telling them that they're all going to die, essentially, with no way to back that up.
Yeah, and you're not helping your case. They already don't like you and suspect you of being a spy. And when you're like, yeah, no, you're all going to die.
Yeah.
That's not helping your case.
No, it's not. And she also is like very like, again, she does not understand like what's going on. And so she like refuses to eat and calls them all thieves. And I mean, I think Angus takes it too far by trying to stab her, but
yeah,
it is, I mean, I wouldn't like being called a thief if I knew that I weren't one,
right?
Kind of a thing. So yeah, she's frustrating in this episode for sure. And there's also so little interaction with her and Jamie, and the interaction that is there is he is telling her to stop being such a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, and then he also sleeps outside of her tavern bedroom door, which is so sweet.
Because he's worried that the drunken men downstairs will try to find her.
Yeah.
Which is just let's not do rapes.
Yeah.
It'd be great if we didn't do that.
Yeah.
This is, even despite there not being very much between Jamie and Claire, I do love this episode because we get introduced to Ned Gowan.
Love him.
He's one of my favorite characters. He is so fun and like silly, and he's also Fleabag's dad.
Oh,
it's the same actor.
Yes, it is.
So I love him a lot and his like interactions with Claire and how like he's the one that she tells that she sort of figured everything out. And he's like, well, you maybe figured out more than you should have. Like you should stop thinking about it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically what they are going around collecting rents from all of the Mackenzie land tenants. And she finds out that they are in the days doing that to bring stuff back to Colin, but at night they're going to the pubs and like gathering money for the Jacobite uprising that's coming in a couple of years. And so that is basically where she realizes that Dougal is actually kind of a traitor.
Yeah.
Because like the rest of the clans aren't really doing this. Or I mean, I guess they kind of are, but it's like Colin doesn't know that they're doing this.
Yeah, this is not a Colin sanctioned activity.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think the thing about it that I like the least is that he's using Jamie the way he is. Yeah. That's rude.
Right. And then Jamie
clearly doesn't like it either.
Yeah. And the fact that you just constantly keep ripping her shirt. I'm like, can you just... So finally, like the last time, Jamie like stops him and then like he pulls it up. And I'm like, I mean, I guess for dramatic effect, sure. But come on, man.
Especially because it doesn't appear that Jamie had any warning.
Yeah.
Like the first time, and then he's just like getting progressively angrier about it, and as he should, because that's like not great being used as a pawn that way.
No, I mean, and I'd stand there and punch trees too if I were him. Like it's just, especially when you say I don't want to be used in this way anymore, and he's like, I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you said that you pledged obedience while on the land, so I am Colum's head and his hand.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, we also got a couple of like present day clips in this one, which was fun because like that there haven't been any in a couple of episodes. Just basically Claire sort of trying to remember what she knew about the uprising and the battle at Culloden, which was just super bloody.
Yeah,
2,000 men?
Under an hour.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So in my mind, when you say under an hour, I'm right at 45 minutes.
Sure,
so 2,000 men dying in 45 minutes.
Yeah. I mean,
whoa.
I mean, it could have been 59 minutes, but that extra 14 doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also meet Willie. I don't think he sticks around too terribly long, but he is cute.
He is very cute.
He's like one of the clan that's like his first time going on this journey. And we also meet Lieutenant Jeremy Foster, who I forgot was as cute as a button as he is.
Yeah, a full piece.
Yeah. But he is a redcoat and he is sticking his nose where it doesn't belong.
Yeah. And I love that when they try to step to him when he's in the village where they see him, he just kind of like steps down from Angus and then grabs his coat and leaves. And so now he's like, because he has the rest of his like dragoon or whatever with him, and he's just like, whatever.
Like, I won't back down this time. And it's like, I get it. He like, you know, she's English, and so he wants to make sure that she's fine or whatever. But it's like, she doesn't look maltreated. She looks fine.
Yeah.
So it's just like one of those points where you're like, oh, good, the colonizers are overstepping their bounds again in this horrible way. And it's probably was his like regiment or whatever that burned and hung those men. So it's just like, what are like, you're clearly not the good guys. Like, what are you trying to do here? And so that like, it frustrates me, especially because I can't actually remember if she says she's there like by her own will or not.
I think that she eventually does, but she takes way too long to say it.
Yeah.
During that scene, I'm like, you're pausing too long.
I mean, that's like a TV thing.
Yeah.
But I do remember that it's like after that the next episode is where she like has that meal
with Blackjack.
With Blackjack. Yeah. So it's like, I feel like she says, yes, I am. But then he's like, Blackjack wants to meet you. Like our captain wants to meet you. So, but still, I'm just sort of like, what the hell, man?
Or is it they're like, yeah, sure, I don't believe you. We're going to take you anyway?
I don't think so.
I can't remember.
I don't think that's the way it is. But yeah, I can't remember either.
I was just thinking, too, about like, I can't remember. Do you remember in the book where she meets the Loch Ness Monster?
Yes. Okay.
Isn't that... So when I first watched this episode, I'm like, oh, are we going to get Nessie? And because when she's sitting at the edge of the pool...
Yeah.
And she's kind of like talking to herself. And I was actually really disappointed that we don't get the Loch Ness Monster.
Me too, especially because I do think it's here. It could also be after the wedding. Because they're near water both times. But regardless, it's not on the show. And I wish it had been. Because it was one of my favorite things that it was like the first thing that spoke to how sort of like widespread this issue could be. Which is that there could have been another, not standing stones necessarily, but another like portal under the water, and Nessie is a plesiosaur. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah. And then she was like, are you stuck too, my friend?
Yeah.
Like it was a very, very, I have chills just even thinking about it.
See, that's why I think it's later, because isn't that part of the reason? Oh no, I guess they are still traveling at that time, because kids see her, because they see the water horse. And they get scared, and the kids run away.
I don't know. I feel like it's around the time that she's figuring out what's going on. I think it's before the wedding.
Okay. Well, then, yeah. I mean, regardless, it's not in the show, and it's one of the things that I'm with you. I wish it had been in the show. And it actually ran through my head in this episode, too, and then I totally forgot
Every time I do a rewatch, I'm like, this is where Nessie should be.
There could be a plesiosaur right there.
Yeah.
It would have been so easy.
Popping her head up real quick.
Come on, you guys.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that I like about about the fact that these are everywhere. These like portals, these, you know, weak spaces between time are everywhere, which we get more evidence of that moving forward. But the fact that it can go that far too, like that it can be, you know, prehistoric, essentially. Right. Very fascinating. And then we've got the fight in the... Oh, well, she actually, before we get to the fight, which is, I think, my favorite part of the episode, she does get to meet a bunch of ladies at the first place they stop. And then she's just immediately elbow deep in urine.
Yeah, I know for a fact that I would not do well in this scenario, because if you're that willing to just stick your arms just in piss, I mean, yes, there is a rhyme and reason for it because it sets the dye faster. Yeah. But like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I would. We don't. That's the thing, is like, you could go back pretty far in history as long as you're wealthy.
Yeah.
If you're not wealthy, you have to do all of that shit, and that's just where I'm a big no.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
That's a big pass for me. But she's like having a really nice time, and they're kind of accepting her, and it's nice, and they're having a whole conversation, and then she does get too drunk, and she tries to steal back a goat.
And she's making such a scene in front of everybody.
Oh, like in this village square.
Yeah. And like, you can't fucking do that.
Yeah.
You can, again, and this is part of the indignant asshole of it all, but I'm just kind of like, just stop it.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
Because this also, I remember it striking me as bizarre the first couple times I watched it too, but like Angus is in this episode all of a sudden extremely rough.
All of them are. It was a real shift because
it's a real out of nowhere thing.
Yeah, because we end the last episode with Dougal respecting her, and now they all just like are mistrustful. Yeah, one of those. Of her just right back to where they were in the beginning, and I'm very confused.
Yeah, it's weird, and because it's. If they hadn't been having all of those, like, you know, quote unquote cute moments, like she had like weird, silly moments with Rupert and Angus and Murtaugh. And like Murtaugh is like the most standoffish with her still, but it's only because he can't release his feelings about how much he wants her to be with Jamie yet. It's just like, it's too in there. But she has had respectful and like funny moments with all of them. And then for them to all just be like, fuck you.
Yeah, and like just grabbing and whipping her around.
Like a real lot. It's bizarre. And then they're talking about her in Gaelic so she can't understand all the time. And like, yeah. And so which leads us to the fight, which is, you're totally right what you said out there where she's like, I can't believe you all were fighting. And she's like scolding them again like a mother hen. And she's like, what even, any excuse to fight? And Murtaugh's the one who's like, well, it was you. You were the excuse. They called you a whore. And then you were like, well, you're our whore.
Yeah.
No one else's whore.
Yeah, because I mean, when Angus goes to like, he pulls his knife on her and he was like, I will not be judged by some English whore. Yeah. And so it rung very true of just, you may be a whore, but you're our whore. And no one else can call you that, but we can.
Only we can pick on you.
Yeah.
And so they trounced the locals, which was nice, you know, standing up for her and whatever. And then they are, you know, she makes that joke at the end and they're all laughing and it's great and whatever. And
when Rupert says, I've never heard a woman make a joke. It's just like, wow.
Yeah. It's grim. That's grim.
Well, and I'm glad that she's now on the ribbing because we literally listened to them talk about their big fish stories in regards to bedding women. I mean, the entire time. And so I'm glad that she finally was like, I'm sure your left hand gets jealous of your right.
So funny.
Yeah. And it's just like, that is the more apt description of their 100%. Scenario for sure.
Especially because she's seen them both fail.
Oh yeah, miserably.
Getting at women. So it's like, whatever. And then Dougal does confront her and that's where the Englishmen find them together and he's like, you're maybe doing too much, and she's not 100%. She's like, okay, well, you know, blah blah blah. And then the stupid English guy, he is a cutie pie though.
He is very cute, but yikes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode because the episode after that is the one I'm really looking forward to.
So in a weird part of me is excited for Claire to just get punched right in the gut.
Yeah.
Because she's had it coming.
She has it coming.
For so long. And I'm like, in no way am I sanctioning violence against women. But, you know, she fucking deserves it.
She does. Because she doesn't stop being mouthy once she gets around the Englishman either.
No. So it's just like, read the room, ma'am. This is not your audience.
100%.
Okay?
100%.
You are losing.
Yeah. For sure. So I'm with you. I'm excited for her to get just walloped real good.
Just once. That's all you need.
Yeah. And so we will be back with the others pretty soon.
Yay.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.